Then put your little hand in mine. There ain't no hill or mountain we can't climb. Babe,
I got you, babe. I've got you, babe. Okay, campers, rise and shine. Don't forget your booties because it's cold out there today.
It's cold out there every day. What is this, Miami Beach?
Not hardly, and you can expect hazardous travel later today. What with that blizzard thing?
That blizzard thing. Oh, yes, well, I've got the National Weather Report right here. It says there's going to be a big blizzard thing.
Yes, there is. And you know what makes it especially interesting?
Especially cold.
Yes, especially cold. It's a question on everybody's lips.
They're chapped lips.
Yes, they're chapped lips. Will Phil come out and see his shadow?
Punxatawney Phil.
That's right, woodchuck chuckers. It's
Groundcast Day, a Groundhog Day podcast. Wee.
Shake your hog out there.
All right.
I'm Randy.
It's Bobby. That's a long intro.
Not as long as you'd think. Only like a minute.
It's
a little under a minute.
August 10th, 2019. Trump's still in office.
And Epstein has committed suicide. How suspicious.
That's all we can talk about current topics though. I'm going
to talk about the most currentest of topics.
Okay.
So I'm going to talk about my viewing of Groundhog Day this week. Or should I say this time again, since we only talked about it 2 days ago.
Yeah, we had a weird week. I just watched a stupid movie again.
I've been having a rough couple of days.
Oh yeah.
I'm in a foul mood, and when you're in a foul mood, this is the last fucking movie you want to watch.
I know.
But at some point, as I'm watching it, I'm angry that I'm watching this film. This film that I love, that I would love more if this wasn't our 35th, 36th watch discussion of.
Yeah.
That I would be like, this movie is awesome. But as I was watching, as I was letting it wash over me, no longer would I see it as Gus said, see the glass half empty. I was starting to see the glass half full, and slowly became to start re-enjoying the film the longer I watched it today. I watched it at regular speed, no subtitles, but as a big difference again, I watched it with the commentary, just to catch any little things that might be different.
Right, he's back to the commentary, back to that.
No, this is the only time I've actually, other than the first time we watched it, did I watch it with the commentary. Because I didn't tell you in the past that the subtitles for the commentary are in other languages. Only, not in English.
I know. I get the concepts of other languages.
So yeah, like I said, at the beginning of the movie, my foul mood was just like, why am I watching this? And then by about the end, by roughly the point where Phil himself has his turnaround in the movie, going, you know what? Yeah, I am going to go out there and seize the day.
About
I'm going to be
about 3/4
of the way through. I'm like, you know what? It's too much to hold on to this bullshit that's been going on this week. I just gotta let it go, and I have to
let it go.
I have to just take it easy and relax, because you know what? There's bigger things out there. There's stranger things out there.
Yeah. Well, want to shut that window?
I guess I'm gonna have to shut my window because there's the sounds of a. Is that a banjo?
No, there's some sort of a fair going on in the island. A music fair.
Did we ever go on the island in our River City escapades, by the way?
No. We should have.
We never went to the island.
The island.
The island.
T.I. But the thing I wanted to say was today I had a very bizarre viewing. I don't know how much of this will make any sense to you.
So, let me ask you about your viewing. How was your viewing this week?
Dear listener, I don't know.
Did you let it wash over you and cleanse your soul?
I got very, very drunk this morning.
What else is new?
And I drank 2 doubles.
What else is new?
Which is like 4 shots. And I didn't eat that much. So I watched the movie at fast speed again. And at some point in time, I finished the movie. And then I did some other things on the internet. And then I started feeling like, oh my God, I'm so tired. So it was only in the afternoon. It was like 1, 2 in the afternoon. I went to go lay down in my bed to take a quick nap. Which usually makes me feel better along with sipping some water. And I'm laying there in bed. And at some point in time, I passed out. And I must have been waking up and falling asleep for about an hour or two. And during this time, my brain constructed a movie.
Well, Bobby, that's how our brains work. We construct little movies to entertain ourselves and to recollect everything that's happened during the day.
In the dream, I was watching a movie. And in this movie, it was it was almost like a bizarro version of Groundhog's Day. I wouldn't call it like reminiscent of Groundhog's Day per se, but it had similar themes. And the main character, at the beginning of the movie, is handed a piece of paper that says, "In a previous life, you were a communist guerrilla." And he's like, "What?"
Now hold it right there. When you first told me the story off mic, my brain went, "Why was he a gorilla?" Like not as in like a like a freedom fighter and all that.
I thought I was talking about
an animal gorilla because it's a dream and it's meant to be surreal. Like, why was he a communist gorilla?
It was not a...
And then I started thinking about how wouldn't gorillas all kind of lean towards communism to begin with? It's like, yeah, there's kind of the alpha male and all that and everybody else around them, but they really do just kind of share things.
Well, I would say they're more of a if we're going to talk about in terms of anthropological terms, most apes, well, actually gorillas and chimpanzees, as well as most monkeys, tend to live in what we would call I think it's the band type society. It's a village. They live largely off the land, mostly nomadic. So there's not really a method of like production of resources or distribution of resources per se. Like they're just kind of going out, grabbing the food and eating it, or drinking the water right there. They don't collect things.
So they're kind of like a hunter-gatherer type of thing, but without with the more immediacy.
Directly immediacy. They don't really think ahead. They don't build shelters. Well, they build primitive shelters out of like grass and stuff, but they don't build like long-term shelters. They don't have fire. They don't make tools much except like a rock. And they just grab whatever food's there. I don't think they really store food. So they don't really have a means of production or distribution of goods. So I don't think their brains can wrap themselves around such things, except as so far as well. I think they might help another one who's sick or old or something like that. Yeah.
When the revolution comes, all gorillas will be up against the wall. Mm-hmm. So, anyways, your protagonist receives a paper from a random stranger.
That was our daily.
No, that was Big Brain Bobby, as opposed to Galaxy Brain Randy.
You're asking me about the Society of Apes, man. That was our non-Groundhog Day stuff for content for today.
This is stuff that Bobby is very knowledgeable about.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so somebody hands him they're Buddhists. This Buddhist like family hands this guy a piece of paper and it says, "In your previous life, you were a communist guerrilla." And he's like, kind of very Bill Murray. It wasn't Bill Murray, but he was just like another male protagonist. He's like,
he was shavehead Bill Murray with like the pock marks.
No, he was like young Bill Murray, almost from the play. He was like that age. But he's got that. But he had a smarmy attitude. Like, what the heck is this? Like he's like, what a stupid thing to say. And he'd be like,
"Oh, your protagonist." I was picturing the Buddhist like in like an orange robe. Bill Murray in an orange robe.
They hand it to him. They were like, maybe Southeast Asian or something like that. And they hand it to him, and he's just like, "What the fuck is this?" He throws it away. He's like, "That's dumb." And then the movie involves some kind of like I'm not gonna say like a cube-esque kind of thing where they're like going into this futuristic fortress and there's like sliding walls and laser defenses and all kinds of stuff.
So I'm gonna stop you here. Did he have a plucky sidekick that he tied a rope around?
I don't remember because I know there was a few of them going in there and they were supposed to be doing something, but I can't like they have to penetrate it and maybe shut it down or get something in there. I don't know.
Did they perhaps have to burst a giant bubble around some sort of giant crustacean god and let the water suck in?
No, this is sci-fi. This is futuristic sci-fi, mostly, but slight future, not like far future. And at some point in time, he was like running along on the roof or maybe another building across from it, but he was high up on like a roof or something, and like a little squirrel is running after him, chasing him, and it's like trying to talk to him. It's like,
was it a Disney squirrel or was it
a real squirrel?
So it was a real squirrel, not a Disney or an Ice Age style squirrel. No,
it was a live action squirrel. And then somehow he like came to the revelation. He's like, "Oh, in my previous life, I was a communist guerrilla," and like somehow something came back to him, and like the squirrel was like somebody he knew or something like that. And it like so there was themes of like reincarnation and him having to like, fix something that he had done and in the past or try to do something with this fortress. Anyway, my brain constructed this out of getting drunk and watching Groundhog Day and throwing in a few other things. I think that the squirrel is reminiscent of the part where the little groundhog goes like ee at Bill Murray, in the car.
Yep.
And
so I can see that. I can understand that.
Yeah, it was like my brain put this thing together, and I woke up. I was like, I thought the movie was real. I was like, what the hell was that movie with the stupid fortress and the
I'm honestly surprised you didn't message me going, "Randy, what was the movie again with the guy who was a communist gorilla?" And
it's just happened.
He had a squirrel.
And he got reincarnated. Yeah.
Squirrel reincarnation.
Yeah. So that was my viewing of the movie, and yeah, so I don't know much about observations today. I was thinking about the machine, because that's why it came out, because I was thinking of Punxatawney the Machine, and so
I love that Bobby's thing. Mine was the alternate reality thing. Bobby's is the this place is a machine. Every part, it's a TikTok machine,
it's
man.
It's a big Rube Goldberg machine. So that's what it was. Like, the place he was going into was like a Rube Goldberg machine, and that's how I connected the two.
Ah, okay.
And the reincarnation was like the day repeating thing. So maybe like he would have to keep going to this machine, keep getting reincarnated or something like that. It had themes with communism and Buddhism. It was crazy. There was a squirrel. Anyway, it was called Squirrel Day. But anyway, no.
Did he have a sidekick, and was it a talking pie?
It was a squirrel.
And did they travel through time
what kind
after?
Of pie? Shaved or unshaved?
I was gonna say a rhubarb, but
Fire crotch.
I was trying to make a Simpsons reference here. You know,
I was trying to make a Yonic reference, Rand.
I know, but I was going for Simpsons. I was going for more classier.
Okay. Wait, what do you mean? What Simpsons reference?
The episode with Alec Baldwin and
is that a newer one?
No, it's an older one. Alec Baldwin, Kim Basinger, and Ron Howard, and they steal. And at the end of the episode, Ron Howard steals.
That's like season 10 or 11.
Steals Homer's idea about a. Okay. It's a great joke.
Anyway, so yeah, that's how that came into being, was that it's a machine. So today I was thinking about the machine, and like we're talking about how things work, like the train. Like, does the train going around do something? And I was thinking today about, like, when Phil steps in the hole, does that do something? Like, the hallway goes, he goes around in a circle. I was trying to think of all the things you can activate.
You're starting to think like a game designer now. It's like what's important and what's there just as a time waster.
What's there to actually trigger something?
Okay,
because I was listening to a podcast about, like, they were talking about, I don't know if I'm going to plug them, but they were playing an older video game. And they were talking about, they were in this dungeon, they're talking about, like, pulling switches, and this
I know the one you're talking about is the one you keep recommending to me. Yeah, okay.
And, like, this switch moves that, and that switch moves this here in this dungeon. And so that's how my brain was thinking, like, when Phil steps in the hole, does that trip a switch to activate something else in the town to happen?
Yeah, let's workshop this, because it's like, what do you think would happen if Phil steps in the hole?
A door opens somewhere, or a person.
Realistically, butterfly effect. What happens when Phil steps in the hole?
Oh, realistically, well, he gets all wet. We know that.
Which makes his day, makes him more crankier, which makes his interactions with other people worse.
Makes Ned laugh at him.
Affects
Ned's behavior, even though he's the devil.
Yep.
Maybe somebody in the nearby vicinity saw that and didn't.
And
because there was one day
when
a different guy stepped in the hole.
Yeah, the day when he doesn't step in the hole, the other guy doesn't step in the hole. So maybe that hole, when the guy steps in the hole that day, that we don't see it, the guy goes on a shooting spree.
Mm-hmm. Like, you have to stop the guy from stepping in the hole.
Yeah, because it's like that was the last straw. The guy just had one bad
like,
day.
My fucking wife's divorcing me. I'm getting fucking laid off from my job.
All I'm looking forward to all year is this stupid Groundhog Festival, and now
Thank God I got a brand new pair of shoes. Everything's looking up, Shad.
And a warm pair of socks.
You know what? My mother always said, at least you got a good pair of shoes and socks, and your feet are nice and warm. Splash. Fuck this!
And then that night at the Groundhog Festival.
Mm-hmm. And another thing I was thinking of was watching the Phil when he was driving on the train tracks with Gus and Ralph in the car. And that's got to have something to do because, as we established earlier, those train tracks, like, that has to go around the town. Like, it doesn't even pass through the town. It just goes in a circle around and around the town, that train.
No, it passes through the town because, remember the map episode?
Yeah, I know the map, but I'm talking about in the Rube Goldberg machine of the little universe that is created.
It kind of, like, if you look at what the thing actually is, it goes around, and I think it actually, if you wanted to go that way, would go around outside of the confines of the map.
My thought was, what would have happened if Phil got in the train tracks and drove away from the train?
He did drive away from the train because he was. Oh no, yeah, never mind.
No, if
he
turned the back of the car and drove at the same direction as the train.
So going back to realistically,
or he followed the train.
For realistically following the train, like driving at the train like he did, that thing, like the what do you call it? The whistle blew when it didn't need to blow. So it woke somebody up. It distracted somebody. Somebody slipped and fell and died.
Yeah.
Now, who would that person be? We don't know.
No.
He may have saved us from the next Hitler.
But what if it would happen if he had followed the train? If he waits for the train, then he drives after it. Or what if he just gets out of his car, runs after it, and jumps on it? Hangs on to the back.
Well, we know by that time in the evening the snowstorm has stopped, so maybe the tracks are more clearer. He may have gotten further, but what if the train isn't really going on a direct route to anywhere, really, and it's just kind of going through nothing but countryside? He's not really getting anywhere.
No.
He might be getting out of the town, but by the time he gets to maybe another place...
Day resets.
It's going to be the end of the day, and it resets.
Yeah.
So, really quick aside to that, to go back to a question you had last week regarding the ending when you said, let's live here, we can rent to start.
Yeah.
How is this workable if he works in Pittsburgh?
That's what I asked, yes.
It's an hour and a half drive there and back again, which is still a reasonable commute. Anything over that is a little bit pushing it, but on the extreme ends for a good rent, that's reasonable still. So he could still honestly get there early enough to work.
What time does he start in the morning? Doesn't he do the morning news too?
Yeah, he does the morning news.
So
it's
he'd be
like
leaving his house every day at like 4 a.m. to get to work?
Maybe 3, because keep in mind that his the early morning weather, but so he may...
And what...
No, actually, wait, is he... No, because for the Groundhog Day festival, he only does the 7 o'clock, the 7:30ish.
No, because at the beginning he talks to that guy, Kenny, and he says...
You're going to make it back to
they were doing the 12 and then the 5, right? Wasn't it? He just like... Weren't they doing the noon news? And then Kenny's like, I'll do the 5, but I can do the 12 tomorrow if you want, or something like that. Wasn't that what happened?
1 second.
We gotta pause it and watch it again. And we're back, verifying again what happened. So we know that Phil actually does the 5 p.m. and 10 p.m. weather.
So he does the afternoon. So it is very
So yeah, he could leave every day about 3 p.m.
He would get back late if they were to move out there and live in Punxatawney.
He would leave every day at about 3 p.m. Get there about 4:30, get in for the office and everything, ready to do the 5. And then he'd have to stay there, though, until the 10, and then after the 10, he'd be coming back, so he'd be coming home every night, it might be 11:30, midnight, so he probably wouldn't see Rita that much. Oh, no, because Rita works there, too, so
they would be commuting together.
Yeah, I'm like, what about Rita? I'm like, oh, yeah, they'll be everywhere. So, yeah, it's fine, they can commute
like I said, it's all very doable.
And they get to spend an hour and a half in the car each day.
Yeah, exactly, and then
back
they're so in love with each other.
And then another hour and a half back, and as we know, they got a lot of banter going on in the car. And
amongst other things,
in the opening scene there, yeah. And that's when they didn't like each other.
Oh, no. He did like her, but he was being like a...
Well, that's when she didn't like him.
No, he's being like a kindergartner, and his...
teasing her.
He's teasing her and poking at her because he likes her.
Yeah.
But if we take the script of the musical as canon as well in an alternate universe, they have met before, and she did kind of find him interesting that one other time they worked. Kind of an asshole, but still found him kind of interesting.
Anyway...
So before we go to so you want to go back to the machinery, I want to talk about the thing I have stopped right here on the screen. So earlier today in the Discord, I said to Bobby, is Dr. Robotnik really just a human groundhog? And the reason I keep bringing up Dr. Robotnik is because for some inexplicable reason, Sonic the Hedgehog and Groundhog Day have come together when we have these weird conversations.
It's because that time I brought up Hedgehog Day.
Yeah, because of...
ding, 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 ding,
thank
ding,
you. So, there's something I've been wanting to bring up every time that has nothing to do with it, but after he gets slapped by Rita multiple times, he walks away dejectedly like frickin' Charlie Brown. I'm waiting for there to be a dog on top of a doghouse.
There's even the sad remix of the song playing.
Yep. As he's walking away, he passes multiple ice sculptures.
Yep.
Until he gets to the one I have
on
the screen.
They're all groundhogs.
Who looks like, to me, a groundhog version of Dr. Robotnik.
The 3 groundhogs are one with its hands on its hips, one playing some sort of a saxophone, and the third one is like got his claw raised in the air. He's got a very prominent mustache.
Prominent mustache. It looks like he's wearing he has a bald head and goggles on, and he has a huge schnoz. And
very big jowls too.
Yeah. So yeah, he looks like I saw this and I'm like, he reminds me of Dr. Robotnik, but specifically the one from not the Sad Am, the other one, the Fox Kids
cartoon,
one.
Yeah, the shitty one.
Both had Jaleel White though, but that's what it reminded me of for some reason. I had to bring it up.
Wow.
Like, look at him! Look at him!
Yeah, and I was just thinking again, going back to what we said before, about this snowmen and ice sculptors. Are they part of the machine? Because we talked about the magic of Rita being ice and him making the Rita ice sculpture. And we talked about how does this snow and ice, the falling of snow.
From previous discussion, we came to the conclusion that when it starts to snow, it usually means that Rita's falling for him. So because the snow is falling.
Then how does the construction of the snowman affect that? And the throwing of snowballs?
Well, the construction of a snowman indicates to Rita Phil's willingness to procreate.
Yeah.
to fornicate with her to create more.
We have a
beings.
million kids.
Yep.
No, but I'm talking about in terms of the machine. Like, if he makes a snowman, and he leaves it there. Does that affect something in the machine?
I don't think everything affects it. There's the minor actions and the other actions. It's like they're gonna leave it there, and what's gonna happen? The homeless guy comes pees on it. Drunk guy comes pees on it. A dog pees on it. Yeah. It doesn't really. It's not in the way of anybody. It's late at night.
Attraction.
It's kind of late at night. Even though there's the kids that are out shooting snowballs.
We'll call it a urine tank. Yeah.
So my question is,
pulling aggro.
Because it's like this is a thought I had during the watching of the film earlier. Yeah. Was how many times did he actually do that snowman part of the date?
Well, we saw it twice.
We only see it twice. We see it the perfect version, and we see the creepy version of it.
But we also see them like later on in that date getting to various parts of the hotels. That must mean they must have done it at least that many times.
Because he knows that they're coming there to make the snowman, so he knows to bring coal. And he knows to do the corncob pipe, and he knows that kids are sneaking up on him.
Yeah. Because
he's very quick to react, and he knows exactly where to shoot the snowballs.
Yep.
It's not until the creepy date where it's kind of like, no, he's super creepy about it. Mm-hmm. So, like, how many times has he done that?
Well, if you count the slaps, I believe it was about a dozen. I don't know.
But how many of those slaps just like...
Dang it, do we have to go watch the slaps again?
Well, no, we don't, because...
How is this important?
No, it's just a thought I had. It's like, how is any of this important, Bobby? It's just filling time.
Well, I thought you were gonna make up a point. Like, what was the point about the snowman then?
No, it's just literally like I said earlier. It's like, as you said, what's the point of why the snowman? It's he wants to make something with Rita.
Okay.
I.e., he wants to make the beast with two backs.
But then at the end, he makes a sculpture of her out of ice.
Yep. So
by himself.
Yep. He puts her up on a pedestal. So that he is no longer a god, and that he is now worshiping another.
An angel.
An angel.
Okay.
So I guess...
but they didn't make the snowman that day.
No, they
didn't. Ice.
They didn't make it that day, because as we had discussion last time, it's like, how many times did he do that ball?
Yeah, so then instead he made the ice sculpture of her. And then they just left that there, too, so whatever happened to the ice sculpture? Still there?
They say to this day, after the apocalypse, people gather around it and they worship it, because
Even
it never melted.
It never melts.
It never melts.
It's magical.
It was Olaf from Frozen before Olaf from Frozen existed.
It's always cold to the touch.
And with that, it's
some say it has magical powers.
Been another exciting episode of Groundcast Day, Groundhog Day Podcast.
Very exciting.
AKA for you, miss.
You get to listen to me talk about my dreams.
Better than reading rotely off of a notebook or talking about a map.
Yeah.
So, goodbye, everybody.
Bye.